Uh, Probably around like 30. He's facing life. Pooh Shiesty went 8 times platinum, beat the odds, survived 3 years in federal prison, and came home to a world that was waiting for him. But the streets never stopped calling. And one wrong move ruined everything he had built. Let's get into the details. The come up and the first music stumble. Lantrell Donnell Williams Jr. was born on November 8th, 1999 in Memphis, Tennessee. He came up in the Cane Creek Apartments in South Memphis, a project building in a hood with heavy crime and not many ways out. That block raised him. The streets, the hustle, the loyalty tests, all of it ended up in his music down the line. His pops was a big piece of the puzzle. Lantrell Williams Sr., who go by Mob Boss, was a rapper in the Memphis underground back in the 90s and early 2000s. He started Mob Ties Records, an indie label out of South Memphis. Young Lantrell was in the studio all the time watching his dad cook. He learned how the game worked and how to move before he ever touched a mic himself. I keep up with music, like from whoever it is, like I've been doing this my whole life, like with music. Listen to music. His mama Gladys Baines was a steady one in the picture. Some say she gave him the nickname Mr. Pooh Music as a shorty. His late brother, Taryn Henderson, is the one most credited with putting Pooh together with Shy, which is Memphis slang for sneaky or grimy. That brother passed from brain cancer in February 2021, music at 27. That loss hit Shy hard right in the middle of his run. The family bounced around looking for something better. Shiesty did about 2 years out in Pflugerville, music, Texas. Staying with his mama, he went to Pflugerville High for a minute when he came back to Memphis. He finished school through summer classes. Those moves gave him a different view, but they never pulled him all the way off the block. Music was his escape. Him and his guys started the Choa gang with Big 30, Choppa Music Tea, and K Shiesty in the mix. He was freestyling in the lunchroom and ciphers on the block anywhere he could. Spit, music. He named Gucci Mane, Chief Keef, Kodak Black, and Lil Wayne as his influences. His dad taught him to take real pain in real life and turn it into bars. The early drop started around 2018. He caught local buzz with records like Breaking News alongside Big 30. By 2019, he had Hell Night with Big 30, Shiesty Summer, Choa Talk, and Dave, Music 1. His cousin Big Scar was coming up in the same circle. Blood ties and the music ran deep together. Then, the breakthrough hit. In April 2020, Gucci Mane signed him to the new 2017 Music Records, a joint venture with Atlantic. Gucci slid in his DMs on Instagram to make it happen. That was Music, the turning point. Gucci was an Atlanta trap legend with serious Southern connects. He gave Shy a co-sign resources and a real platform. Early on, they linked on the So Icy Summer tape. Then the whole thing went up with Back in Blood featuring Lil Durk. Dropped in November 2020. The record mixed Shiesty's grimy Memphis flow with Durk's Chicago drill melody. It peaked at number 13 on the Music Billboard Hot 100. It went multi-platinum and crossed 100 million YouTube views fast. That song put him in everybody's mouth. But while the career was taking off, his first real legal problem was already brewing. On October 9, 2020, in Music, the parking lot of a condo complex near the Landa Hotel in Bay Harbor Islands, Florida, an alleged drug music and sneaker move went left. According to federal court documents and police affidavit, Shiesty plus co-defendants Music, Bobby Brown and Jaden D. Rosa set up a meet with 2 dudes. They was there to cop some weed, some high-end music sneakers, and to extend the rental on a lime green McLaren Shiesty had been pushing. He pulled up in the McLaren. D. Rosa slid through in a black, Music Mercedes-Benz Maybach. Prosecutors say the exchange went sideways quick. Shiesty and Brown allegedly pulled out semi-automatic weapons, and Music started dumping on the 2 victims. One dude caught one in the butt or hip, the other caught a similar shot. The crew then allegedly bounced with Music, the unpaid weed and sneakers. They left a Louis Vuitton bag behind, and that bag ended up tying Shy to the scene. A commentary crew that peeped the surveillance footage couldn't even make sense of it. There's a green McLaren that is like push ID and some people meeting up in a parking lot. and then all of a sudden the shots start going crazy. The clip was short and chaotic. Even folks studying it real close couldn't piece together what jumped off in them. Few seconds. I read like to the reporter what happened, and then when I seen the video, it didn't really add up. It didn't really, and it was like a 30 SE second on clip. I'm like, what happened that fast? The backstory on the meat made it even more confusing. The transaction was supposed to be regular. Okay, did you read they were supposed to be selling them shoes to buy some weed and get some shoes or some underscore like that? How did that turn into the shooting? That's why some folks read it as self-defense and not no plan lick. The detail that stuck with everybody was a bag he left music behind. And then it was in a situation where a transaction was going down. And apparently he left a Louis Vuitton bag with $30K. To them. Leaving 30 band behind didn't add up to a man out here robbing somebody for sneakers and weed. Shiesty turned himself in on October 13th, 2020. At first, he caught state charges, including armed robbery with a firearm and aggravated battery. He bonded out on $30,000 music initially, but the case jumped straight to federal because of the interstate pieces and guns used in a robbery affecting commerce. Music, that was the first stumble. The come-up was popping, and the case was building right next to it. From state charges to a federal conspiracy, the Bay Harbor Islands move was just the start of the legal picture. Federal prosecutors in the Southern District of Florida started stacking a bigger case. They wanted to tie a few different incidents together into one conspiracy. While that case was cooking, a second situation popped off. On May 30th, 2021 Memorial Day weekend, there was a shooting at the King of Diamonds strip club in Miami. This was right when his career was climbing off back in blood. According to police reports and court records, Shiesty was inside the club when something jumped off. Money fell out his pants or pocket during the back and forth. A security guard reportedly tried to step in or grab at the falling cash. Shy allegedly pulled out and shot the guard in the leg or ankle. Dude survived. The wound wasn't life-threatening. On June 8, 2021, Shy turned himself music into Miami-Dade police. He got booked on aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. He was held for a minute before getting a $10,000 music bond. As part of his conditions, he got banned from the King of Diamonds. This state case was running right alongside the federal heat building up. Meanwhile, the music wasn't slowing down. His debut tape, Shy Season, dropped music on February 5th, 2021. 18 tracks with features from Lil Durk, Lil Baby, 21. Music Savage, Big 30, and Gucci Mane. Joints like Neighbors and Box of Churches showed his range. Music. The tape debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200 and number 1 on top rap albums. Later, It Music went double platinum, so the timing was real ugly. He was getting XXL freshman recognition and heavy rotation while staring down a serious case. The irony was loud. A rapper known for the ski mask and street anthems was now catching real consequences in the Miami club scene. Then came the resolution. On January 4th, 2022, Shiesty walked into a Miami federal court and pleaded guilty to music, 1 count of conspiracy to possess firearms and furtherance of crimes of violence and drug trafficking. It was a plea deal that cut his exposure down. Originally, he was facing a firearms count that music carried a possible life sentence because of the weapon getting fired in the 2020 situation. The deal let prosecutors drop 3 more charges. In the plea, Shiesty admitted to being part of conspiracy on 3 occasions. First was July 7th, 2020 music, in Memphis when he was in a whip while somebody fired a gun at a gas station. Second was October 9th, 2020 in Bay Harbor Islands. Third was May 30th, 2021 music at the King of Diamonds. His lawyer, Bradford Cohen, made the point that the plea kept him off a way worse outcome. The defense argued Shiesty wasn't always the one pulling the trigger and framed some of it as mutual music beef or self-pee protection instead of planned licks. Sentencing happened on April 20th, music. 2022 in front of U.S. District Judge K. Michael Moore in Miami. Prosecutors asked for up to 97 months, a little over 8 years. But after a 2-hour hearing where Cohen laid out the mitigating factors, The judge gave Music him 63 months, 5 years, and 3 months in the feds. Those factors included his age, 22 at the time, his rising career, and family support. Shy Music got credit for about a year he already did in custody with good behavior. The projections at the Music time had him serving around 3 to 3.5. He also got 3 years of supervised release on the back end. The hearing got emotional. Shy showed remorse Music and said he wanted to lock in on his music and his family. Judge Moore acknowledged how serious the gun pattern was, but pointed Music to the plea deal and other factors for going below the top recommendation. The career hit was immediate. Shiesty's season had already gone platinum. Back in Blood was still moving, but Music. The bid stopped the shows, the tours, and the new drops right at his peak. He got designated to do his time in federal spots, eventually including USP Cannon in Pennsylvania. The case also showed the federal playbook. Prosecutors use conspiracy statutes to come at a pattern instead of one. Situation. That's a common move in these high-profile rap cases with guns and drugs in the mix. They built a whole story out of separate moments and tied it all together. Looking back, the 2022 plea and sentencing was both a low point and a temporary breather. It closed the book on his early troubles, but at Music also set up his release and even crazier allegations that would come in 2026. A lot of folks in the industry called a cautionary tale Music of how fast the streets could derail the bag. The bid, the reflection, Music, and a second chance. Pooh Shiesty started doing his 63 months for Music Real after the April 2022 sentencing. He ended up doing about 3 years before his early release on October Music 6, 2025, the time he did before sentencing. Plus good behavior got him home early. He spent a chunk of it at USP Cannon in Ware, Pennsylvania, a high-security pen known for Music being rough. In a post-release sit-down with XXL, Shiesty talked about the bid as both a transformation and a grind. He spoke on the mixed feelings of being back out. Feeling good, man. I'm feeling like, a lot of mixed feelings. Happy same time. Music, like excited, He came home with a comeback single, ready to go. He dropped FDO, which stands for First Music Day Out, and he broke down why it had to be the first one. FDO like I had the music. Come with this particular song, because it's like the message, it fit like around I'm back type of vibe. He said he started the record while he was still locked, but couldn't finish it till he felt that Music coming home feeling. He rapped it the first day in the studio. The pressure of the moment was real, and he felt all the eyes on him. Said, I ain't fumble, __, the whole world been waiting on this. I Music, can't F __, the whole world been waiting on it. He talked about how the bid switched up his whole approach. He used the whole solitary as a spot to write with no distractions. He said he had material for multiple albums, and that being by himself actually helped him lock in, being in a hole or whatever. Like, I use that as like my best type of time cause I'm by myself alone. He picked up new habits behind the wall too. He started working out for the first time and got into reading. He said he worked on his decision and his temper. A lot of good habits I picked up in there. Yeah, music. Some I gotta tighten up some more. But for sure like working out, that's one. Music never worked out before. Never. But working out, that's one. A reading. He talked about steering away from the old patterns. He said he wanted to switch up his people, music, places, and things. He framed it like a movie he'd already watched. I try like to steer away from them same type of like scenarios. It's like music. Seeing now like I didn't saw that one before. Like I don't already watch that movie Music before. His faith and his relationship gave him the strength to do the time. He spoke on getting closer to God and watching his prayers come through. My relationship Music with God, and it strengthened me and kept me going because like my relationship, my past relationship with him, it's like I came closer with him. His lawyer, Bradford Cohen, kept pointing to how Shy stayed compliant and matured inside Music. That played a real part in the early release. No major write-ups or incidents got reported. The impact on his family and his guys was heavy. His right hand and frequent collaborator, Big 30, real name Rodney Wright Jr., was open about the emotional weight. Music. Big 30 was at the court dates and later spoke on dealing with depression while Shy was down. His pops, Music mob boss, and his mama held it down. When he touched back home, the reunions with Big 30, Carbon, and family hit Music the internet. The bid lined up with major career moments. SHY's season went platinum and kept racking streams while he was locked. Back in Blood hit 8 times platinum. Shy reflected on that music in the interview and what it meant for where he came from. 8 so close to, you know what I'm saying? This platinum music. Like it ain't being done every day like it's a lot of people from where we from. He also addressed the rumors straight up. Some chatter online and some former music. Inmates were questioning whether he folded or had internal beef. He shut it down by saying he stood solid and didn't tell on nobody. Shiesty took direct inspiration from Gucci Mane's own glow-up. Gucci came home from prison fit and locked in, and Shiesty said he took notes from that. Music, the way Gucci came home, and like that motivated me too. Because I took notes from there, like how he switched it up, how he toned up. He even passed game to Lil Durk, who was dealing with his own case. Shiesty said the street notoriety wasn't worth it. All the image and the facade and the faking and the street notoriety come, then it's not worth it. Ain't nothing worth leaving this and going music to Nerve. The comeback single hit FDO dropped on December 12th, 2025. It debuted at #1 on the Hot R&B Hip Hop Songs chart, his first #1, and hit number 12 on the Billboard Hot 100. He also linked with fellow Memphis artist Urilla in the studio. Everything was pointing toward a stable second run. The bid years were a forced pause at a crazy moment. He came home more focused with a fresh music, mindset, and a real plan. His early freedom got celebrated like a second chance, but that chance turned out to be short. The Dallas studio and the alleged cross. This is the part that flipped the whole music story. Just months after he touched down in October 2025, the worst controversy of his career took shape. It allegedly involved Shiesty crossing his own mentor Gucci Mane, and it has him facing federal charges that could mean life. Music. It went down on January 10th, 2026 at a recording studio on Dallas Parkway in Dallas, Texas. According to the federal criminal complaint and DOJ announcements, Shy set up what looked like a regular business meeting to talk about his recording contract with Gucci's 2017 records. Music, a breakdown laid out how it allegedly went. So, Pooh Shiesty had a problem. If you don't know Pooh Shy, he's a rapper from Memphis, Tennessee. The whole problem was the contract. Shy wanted out in Gucci music. Didn't want to let him walk because he was making the label money. Pooh Shy calls up Gucci Man. He said, "Look, I don't want to be signed under you anymore." Gucci Mane said, so. According to a music reporter who covered the raid, the complaint shows how the day kicked off. RD, who allegedly is Gucci Mane, flew in with 2 security at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. They pulled up to the studio for what was supposed to be a business sit-down. So, what is alleged in the documents is that RD, who would be a Gucci man, right? Rod Reed Davis. Clear his throat, they flew in with 2 security people at a 1 p.m. That same day, once the meeting music started, they moved into a separate side studio. Shiesty allegedly asked Gucci to let him off the contract, and Gucci said nah. The issue is that Pooh Shiesty allegedly wanted to be released from this contract. According to the documents by police, Pooh Shiesty asked RD Gucci men allegedly to be let out of the contract. When Gucci said no, Shiesty allegedly told Big 30 to go grab a black bag. That bag was caught on camera, music coming in. Then the strap came out. They pull out an AK-style weapon, a black Alaska-style weapon. Music. And is pointed at Gucci Men by Bushy allegedly, and Gucci Men is enforced to sign this contract. While that was happening, Big 30 allegedly had a phone out recording Gucci confirming the release on video. Then came the part about the date. And then Pusha, according to these docs, looks over to his dad, allegedly, and says, "Is this good? Like, is the paperwork good?" Music. The dad, as alleged, have said, "No, it needs to be dated." They then make Gucci mandate the paperwork. Music. The breakdown video described that same dating moment with the pops checking the contract. Poochie looked at his dad. He said, "This is going to count, right?" Poochie's father looks at it. He said, "Oh no, this is not going to count. Gucci Man forgot to date him." Meanwhile, the other folks with Gucci allegedly got robbed. According to Music, to the complaint, one victim got shoved on a couch and had his wallet and jewelry took. Another got choked nearly out and stripped of a Rolex, earrings, Music, a Louis Vuitton bag, and cash. Shiesty himself allegedly took Gucci's wedding ring, earrings, watch, and cash. The reporter spoke on how scared Music. They was in that second room. Someone says in this complaint that they thought that they were going to be executed because the way that they were all sat down in that second room. Big 30 is accused of blocking the studio door with his body so nobody could get out. Music. That's where the kidnapping charge comes from since the victims couldn't leave. There was 9 defendants charged. Lantrell Williams Jr., his pops, Lantrell Williams Sr., Rodney Wright Jr., who was Big Music, 30, and 6 others. Kadarius Waters, Terrence Rogers, Duran Gibson, DeMarcus Glover, Corday Johnson, and Darian McDaniel. All 9 face federal charges, including kidnapping and conspiracy to commit kidnapping. Each count carries a possible max of life. One aggravating factor really stood out. Shiesty was on home confinement with an ankle monitor from his Florida case at the time. That monitor became evidence. The reporter explained how it placed him at the scene. Music. Now, his ankle bracelet was actually one of the evidence pieces that police are pointing to with him, because they said that the location monitor on the ankle bracelet put him allegedly at Music, that studio. Yeah, the arrest came mostly on April 1st and 2nd, 2026 through coordinated FBI raids in Memphis, Music, Dallas, Nashville, and Atlanta. Shy got grabbed in Dallas. On April 9, 2026, a Music federal judge denied him bond, calling him a flight risk and a danger to the community. The reporter summed up how crazy it was. A platinum artist with a huge fan base, allegedly Music, put himself in that spot right after coming home. Pushy is a platinum-selling artist who is a huge presence with the youth, right? They love him. His record outdid Mariah Carey's record at #1 for a couple of weeks. There's no reason why he should be putting himself in Music. That predicament, this alleged arm takeover, is seen as the peak of Shiesty's tragic fate. A promising comeback headline Music by FDO crashing back into a case that could end a career right when the momentum was coming back. The fallout, the beef, and the road to trial. The Dallas situation jumped past the courtroom real quick and turned into a public beef. Gucci Mane, the man who signed him back to Music and welcomed him home, became the center of the fallout. The alleged cross touched a nerve across the whole industry. The feds confirmed Gucci's part in identifying the man who got him. A commentary panel broke down what the paperwork showed. The feds confirmed that Gucci Mane Rod Reed Davis identified Pooh Shiesty as a man who robbed him. The same panel laid out the root of it, that Gucci wouldn't let him go Music. And that's what set everything off. Gucci Man identified Pooh Shiesty, pointed a gun to his head, and made him Music sign papers to release him from 2017 record deal. Pushy was unhappy in his deal, but Music. Gucci refused to release him. Some on the panel wasn't all the way shocked, pointing back to Gucci's history. They brought up an old interview where Gucci named Jeezy after a robbery years back. Gucci done told on before, bro, on Broad TV. He told him Giz had a Mad Links interview on BET back in the day. And Mad Links asked him like, bro, who do you think had a motive to do this to you? When they ran up in the spot? But what stood out most of the panel was how bold Shiesty got. They compared it to a famous industry enforcer. What stands out to me more than Gucci snitching on Shy is Bowie like, you got me. I'm getting about this contract. He on some SH, laughter, saying it's him and he think night tactics, bro. They tied the alleged motive back to Big Scar, Shiesty's cousin who passed, and how Gucci moved around that situation. They say they did Gucci like that because of how Gucci treated when Big Scar died. Yeah, Shy was super close. That was his cousin, bro. On April 10th, 2026, right after the arrest, And while Shiesty was denied bond, Gucci Mane dropped the record Crash Dummy Music, produced by Zovan. The bars went straight at the alleged events. He framed it as business, not emotion. He threw shots at Big 32. A lot of folks saw it as Gucci taking back control of the narrative and reinforcing that the contract release was signed under duress, which could make it useless. It racked up millions of streams fast. The reaction was loud and split down the middle. A lot of people came at Shy for crossing the man who gave him his big shot, music. Others defended him, saying label disputes and industry exploitation might have played a part. Some said Gucci lost street cred for going the legal route. Others praised him for choosing the courts over streets. The panel went back and forth on whether Gucci should have handled it different and kept it quiet for his image. But Gucci was supposed to get everybody together and give him 30,000 say, "Hey, shut up, don't say nothing. I'm still," or at least him say, "Hey, I didn't see nothing." They also questioned the whole decision from Sure's side. Why risk it all to get off a contract when you got real money coming? I don't even understand the mind frame of these yans these days, because I ain't no way in hell I'm going to get out, become a millionaire. The legal breakdown got even more serious in another video. Focus on how strong the government's case is. The host explained that the witnesses cooperating mattered more than recovering the actual jewelry. I think he has a very tough road ahead of him to try to defend this whole situation, because there's so many witnesses, and not only Gucci, the cameraman, is cooperating. He explained that multiple people in the room was giving statements to law enforcement. A friend of Gucci from his hood already identified suspects by name. His friend BP identified 4 of the suspects by himself. MHM, 4 of them with names, Instagram handles, everything. That stacking of testimony is what makes the missing jewelry less of a problem. 3 people in the room saying the same thing carries weight. You don't necessarily need to recover the jewelry, music, because you have 3 people all saying y'all did it. When they asked how much time Shy could be looking at, the answer was rough. Music, probably around like 30. He's facing life. Yeah, he's facing life. Shy pleaded not guilty to all charges in May 2026. A trial date got set for July 6, 2026 in U.S. District Court in Dallas in front of Senior U.S. District Judge David Godby with music. A final pretrial conference on July 1st. All 9 defendants are set to be tried together. The outcome is going to shape his legacy. A good verdict could open the door for another comeback. A conviction would lock in the story of wasted potential and could kill the momentum for good. Music. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, click on one of the boxes playing on your screen to watch more similar content.